Let's go! Yeah! Attaboy! Okay, go back to your dip. Go back to your dip. Here. And then just lower yourself down. Okay. Yeah, we haven't talked about that part yet. We're going to talk about ring muscle ups, one of my favorite movements to teach ever. The first course that WODprep ever made. It still exists today, and it still has the typos that I originally made in the video editing when I was editing myself. It's Muscle Up Madness, because I love teaching ring muscle ups. So when it comes to learning the ring muscle up, there's a couple different pieces of terminology I'm going to throw out there. When it comes to learning our first one, I highly recommend everyone get very familiar with the false grip. So a lot of people, when they think false grip, they think strict ring muscle up, which is true. You do need a false grip on that. However, when it comes to learning our first ring muscle up, you can actually get a little bit of a kip with a false grip. The reason a false grip is important is because if you watch, CrossFit Games athletes, CJ and I or Jen swinging from the rings, doing a ton of muscle ups, we're always just gripping with what I would call is like a standard grip. We just grab the rings, and then in order to get over the rings, my hands slide around, and then I catch in that dip position, okay? So it's a little bit more complicated to do it that way, because not only do you have to pull, hip hop, transition, your hands have to literally slide around the rings. What's cool about the rings though is you don't have to have that step. So if we have a false grip, OCD here, if we have a false grip which looks like this, I karate chop the rings. The rings sit in the crease. See how like everybody go like this with your hand, right? Where your wrist bends, that's where we want the rings sitting. At the bottom of the rings, I karate chop, and then I grab, okay? What's cool is that when I'm doing a ring muscle up in this position, watch my hands. Okay, imagine I'm floating above the bar. Did my hands move at all? None, nothing, okay? So because of that, it's easier to learn your first ring muscle up with a false grip. Now, who has had the pleasure of using a false grip? Right? Is it comfortable? No. Does it feel good? No. That's okay, right? We're trying to get a muscle up here. It's okay to be in a little bit of wrist discomfort, okay? Just know that when you get your ring muscle up, like Jen, the first one you learned, actually it might be a bad example, but like first one you learned, did you have a false grip?
I did.
Yeah. Okay. And then eventually you got rid of it. Right. CJ forced you to get rid of it. So once we start getting to more than one muscle up or lots of muscle ups in a given workout, eventually you're going to want to get rid of that false grip. But I recommend for most people, that doesn't come until we have some muscle ups in the tank. Okay? All right? So with that, let's talk about like some step-by-step, what does the muscle up look like? And then we're actually going to, CJ, if you could grab, I guess 6 or just grab some bands of various sizes. We're going to put them on the rigs. So with the ring muscle up, I got my karate chop. I have my false grip. Chalk, actually chalk, mandatory. Because when you chalk your hands, your false grip will not slip, or it's going to slip less. A huge mistake that a lot of people make, at least 6 people here today will do the same thing. As soon as you get on the high rings and you actually get a false grip, you're like, yep, I'm there, I got it. And then we put tension on it, right? It turns into this. This is not a false grip anymore. And in order for me to get above the rings, okay, my hands are still gonna have to slide around it. So like, if we're trying to truly get a false grip, you have to keep it locked in, okay, to your wrist, and it's not gonna feel comfortable, okay? Any other points on that, CJ? I see you just like smiling. Okay, all right. So the ring muscle up from this position, okay, regardless of whether you're kipping, I'm turning on the volume now, regardless of whether you are kipping or you're doing a strict one, it's kind of all the same, okay? So in the ring muscle up, I have my false grip. I'm basically pulling the rings or elevating myself so that the rings are at my chest. I like to call this, does anyone know what I call this position when I go from here to here? Superman. The goal here is when we're doing either kipping or strict, I'm pulling the rings up, especially when we're doing a strict one for our first one. We want to keep the rings close. So it's almost like, I'm fist bumping myself in that false grip. I pull up to here. I get the rings to my sternum, ideally as low as possible, but for most people it's about chest level, sternum level. And then I Superman, and I drive my head through into this dip position. Supermaning is really important because as soon as I go like this, a lot of people, they treat the ring muscle up, the pull, like they do a pull up, so they're on the bar like this, they pull up wide. The wider my hands get, at any point in the ring muscle up, the harder the movement gets, right? Because does anyone know what this movement is? It's iron cross, and that's like the hardest movement in gymnastics. But basically, like, that's really hard. So think about it. Every single inch that those rings go out when it comes to making that transition, you are making it exponentially harder on yourself. Knock the knuckles, false grip, pull to the sternum, and then from here, it's all about your head. So from here, a lot of times I'm looking up, and then all I want you to do is try to look at your toes or try to look at the ground. Because our head, especially when we're learning those first ring muscle ups, you got to use your head. This sucker is, I mean, CJ's head, what, weighs 15, 20 pounds? Mine's probably like 8 or 9. I'm using that as a counterbalance as I pull up. You don't have to think about really anything else other than if I just go like that, it's putting me into that dip position, okay? So everyone, really quick, let's knock our, like, T-Rex arms, knock our knuckles, bring it into your chest. If your biceps are too big, maybe you can't get there. Look, I can't even get, no, I'm just kidding. So I'm here, okay? All I want you guys to do is look down and pull your knuckles to your ribs, okay? So let's do that one more time. I'm here, and I just want you to look down and go like that, okay? Like that's it, that's the transition. Super easy, you guys all just did perfect, okay? A couple more things to note, and then we're gonna actually just hop into some low ring demonstrations that I'm gonna have you guys work through, is when I've noticed this, there's a few athletes that I've been coaching in academy recently. Justin, I think I had this tip for you as well. When you go for the transition in the ring muscle up, this is where a lot of people go awry and they start doing like the iron cross, or they get separation. And how many times, like for those who have tried and failed ring muscle ups, actually Slater, I remember your video of you doing this from last year's camp. It's like everything's perfect, I'm here, and then they go for the transition and the rings come out here, and then what happens is you're here and you fall through, okay? You can't quite get it. So the last step in this progression, it's false grip, knock the knuckles, Superman, look down, right? So I'm doing this, and then I do this, is I want you to physically punch yourself in the ribs, okay? So when I'm transitioning, whether I'm doing a kipping ring muscle up, or in this case, a strict, or like a semi-kip, stricty thing with a false grip, when you go for that transition, you lock in the rep by punching yourself in the ribs. Because this position, if you get here, all you have to do next is a ring dip, okay? So I almost treat the muscle up, and I try to teach athletes, it's a two-part movement. It's not get the ring muscle up, it's transition and dip. That's it. So if you ever, I always tell people, and I'll demonstrate in the high rings, as we're gonna do some demos here, I'll probably have you pause when you transition, feel it, make sure you're not out here, stabilize, and then finish the dip. When you actually get to the high rings and it comes time to do a ring muscle up, which we're gonna get to today, it's very important that you get above the rings and you stabilize. Don't rush, hang out there for 10 seconds, scream, do the little flutter kick thing we've seen in a lot of videos, because you have it. All you have to do is finish your dip. And that's, granted, I've seen so many people, they get to the dip and they're like, I'm like, dip, and they're like, oh, I can't do ring dips. So like, if you can't do ring dips, right? I didn't ask that in the prerequisites, but for ring muscle ups is important. If you can't do ring dips, doing a ring muscle ups can be very hard. But you might get up there and do your first ring dip. I've seen that happen before because they're too excited, the adrenaline's pumping. But watch this. So when I go to do my transition, and this is just like a normal kipping one, when I get up here, I'm punching those rings in tight. I can hang out here all day. It's the athletes that catch out here that you see them do all kinds of crazy stuff and they fall through. So it's transition, punch, stabilize. In this position, every single one of you, I don't care how mobile your shoulders are, this is a stable position, and then it's just finish that dip, okay? All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Obviously, today we're gonna get as much done as possible, but this drill right here for homework, like something at WODprep camp we always try to teach is like, we can get a lot of stuff done here, but if you go and practice outside of this, like Slater did, right? He was so close to getting his ring muscle up, he was a little bit tired, and then he went out and he practiced, he did the course. You don't even have to do the course, but this drill right here is my favorite ring muscle up development drill. This drill teaches you what a ring muscle up feels like. It's pretty much infinitely scalable because I can adjust the band tension. I can also adjust the band height. So if I wanted to make this, I'll show you the drill first and then I'll ask questions. If I wanted to practice a ring muscle up and I didn't quite have one yet, this will expose your body to what it feels like. I actually had a guy in WODprep Academy last week. He'd never done a bar muscle up. He had crazy prerequisites. I don't know if you guys saw this guy Ben in Academy. Anyway, he had all the prerequisites. He went through the bar muscle up course and he's like, I still can't do one. And I was asking him questions and he's like, oh yeah, I didn't do any of the banded bar muscle ups. And I'm like, how did you get through the bar muscle up course without doing a banded bar muscle up? They're programmed every day. Same thing with ring muscle ups. The banded muscle up practice will make in your body, when you feel it, you'll be like, oh, that's what it feels like. And then your body can do that without the support, okay? So what we're gonna be practicing now, I want you guys to go through all these steps. Karate chop, false grip, also get some chalk, which I don't have, which is not good. I sit in the band, okay? Ideally, I don't have my feet on the ground. Depending on your weight, you might need to adjust the band height or the band tension. I'm here, I pull up, and I transition, okay? If you guys want to finish the dip, you can. Don't have to. I just want you to get the transition because I don't want, like Slater last year, we did a whole bunch of stuff, and then he's like, I'm tired. And I said, that's too bad. So don't make yourself too tired, but what I want you guys to practice, especially people who've never done a ring muscle up before, this one's huge. Find a band and a height that works for you so that you can do it every time, and then we will increase difficulty. And actually, so there you go, you got it. Cool. Okay. So you're like all the way leaned back, which like when we're on the high rings, you're not gonna be that far leaned back unless you're doing a crazy kip. So this time, try to keep it more like a little bit of like an L-sit.
Okay.
All right, so yep, just kind of L-sit, like keep your torso a little bit, there you go, arms extended. Good, okay. And then this time, let's do one more. Trying to think of what I want to say. So in the transition, I don't know if you guys saw, like, so you got over, and it was like, woo, wobbly. That's a scientific term, woo. So this time, if you can, like, try to keep everything tighter. Like one thing I've even told people sometimes, if they are getting wide with the transition, which is I think what you did, is like, imagine your thumbs are Sharpies, okay, Sharpie markers. Like when I'm doing it, like if your thumb's here, it's like I'm literally outlining my side boob with the thumb. It's like I want them to be close, and then it literally like slides around my chest into that dip position. Don't let them come apart from your body, okay? So just keep it close. There you go, good, excellent, good, sweet. Okay, boom, money.
Okay.
Excellent.
That feels good.
Excellent, awesome.
Okay.
Sweet, okay, so then slowly just lower yourself to extension, okay, and then pull up, good, sweet, boom. Good, yes, excellent, good,
Okay.
great, that was awesome, right? Sweet. If you want to support WODprep and you want to sleep better, go grab a bag of Thirdsy. Thirdsy is the only supplement I've ever promoted, and that's honestly because it's the only name brand supplement that I take. It has all the ingredients that I used to take in a bunch of different pills and powders and stuff like that, all combined into one simple scoop. You take this 60 minutes before bed, and it will help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep throughout the night and wake up feeling refreshed. Use the code WODprep15. I promise, if you've struggled with sleeping in the past, This will change the game. It's really helped me. And the key here is it is melatonin free. You don't want to be taking melatonin every single night. That messes with your hormones. Don't do it. Take a melatonin free sleep aid. It's going to help you sleep better. Third Z is the one that I use. And if you want to help support this seminar and this show and the WODprep YouTube channel, go to Third Z, use the code WODprep15. You'll sleep better, you'll get a discount, and you'll help support the show and our amazing sponsors. If you want to get your first ring muscle up, this is how you do it. Step number 1, these can be 2 boxes, it can be whatever. Step on something so that I can get the false grip easily. Because, as people have probably noticed, if I'm all the way down here and I jump up to the rings, it's very difficult to get a false grip properly. Usually you catch it too low and you're toast. So step number 1, eliminate the need to jump and dynamically grab the false grip. Very hard. Don't worry about that quite yet. So elevate yourself. Now it's very easy. I'm here, I'm relaxed. I can easily get my false grip, make sure I'm chalked up, choke up, get it. From here, I lower myself down so that I'm at full extension. I'm still supporting with my feet so I can hold the false grip no problem. Then, usually to get people their first ring muscle up, since we've all done kipping pull-ups here, we can use a little bit of a kip. It counts in CrossFit, okay? So from this position, with the false grip, I do 1 kip into a ring muscle up. So it's not a strict ring muscle up, because yes, I am swinging, but it's not really a kipping ring muscle up, a pure one, because I have that false grip, and I'm not really doing a big kip, okay? So here's what I mean. I'm here, lower myself down to full extension. All I do is I drop my feet out in front of me in the hollow position, 1 swing, and up, okay? So what it's doing is and you'll notice, like, when I did that swing, I didn't go, I'll show you, just because I'm a visual learner and a teacher. When I did that little kip swing, I didn't go like this. You know, I didn't do like the CrossFit, like, you know, like whatever that ow. You don't have, it's not a big arch position. It's not like we normally say, get as much momentum in the arch as possible. That's not what this is. It's literally you're just giving a little bit of momentum, okay? So again, let's watch it. Pay close attention, please. Always karate chop, okay? Did see a couple people like, you know, we went to grab the rings and you're like, oh yeah, false grip, I got it. And it's like, nope, no you don't. It's always karate chop. Make sure it's in that crease of your wrist. Grab the bottom of the rings. Another random kind of side note here. I've seen a lot of coaches, they talk about choking up on the rings. So you'll see an athlete, they come up and they're like, oh yeah, yeah. And they get a false grip up here and then it ends up looking like this. Problem is, when you grab the rings like that, you actually run into the rings with your shoulders and you cannot do the transition. So you have to make sure your false grip is actually at the bottom of the rings, okay? So, karate chop, false grip. I'm not dropping yet. I get myself to arm extension, elbow extension, and then from here, my feet are just going out in front, they swing, and then I use my momentum to get above the rings, okay? So it's just a little bit of a swing. All right, who is feeling confident in their abilities to want to attempt one of those? Okay, remember, these are gonna feel, they're longer straps, you're higher, gonna feel a little more unstable when you get to that dip. So show me that strong ring dip when you get there, okay? So slowly lower, just bend your knees. Okay, keep going, keep going. So you see how your false grip's still in there? Okay, got it. So yeah, make sure it's in there. And then just when you're ready, you drop and do one little kip swing, okay? You need more chalk?
No.
Okay.
I'm still not used to it.
Yeah, honestly, like the whoop sometimes gets in the way, but you look good, you look good. Just a little swing. Let's go! Yeah! Attaboy! Okay, go back to your dip, go back to your dip. Here. And then just lower yourself down, okay. Yeah, we haven't talked about that part yet. I've actually never had someone who's like, what do I do now? Awesome, good job, good job. So, and just, I'm always coaching, right? So like, obviously, we're stoked, okay? What was like, in his muscle up, what was like the little bit of the scary part? Like what for you? Any scary part? Oh, getting down, yes, yeah. So yeah, getting down, it's actually like,
I was afraid I was going to hit the wall.
yeah, so like from that, just come to the dip and then you just drop. Just keep your feet narrow, you won't hit it.
Yeah.
But in the transition, right? You pulled so high, you actually like got all the way through and then the rings got a little wobbly. So like you, well, that's okay. But like, just think, just remember, if you, like that was amazing how high you got through. Just remember, as soon as you start making that transition, Sharpies.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome job. First ring muscle up ever. Let's go, baby. A great progression for this. If like your mind's breaking because of this weird kip swing thing, like what you can do is, it's not a muscle up, depending on who's judging you, but to learn what it feels like and feel the progression, don't worry about getting your arms extended. You can literally be here. Okay, all right, I'm good. I'm here. Okay, it's just swing. Okay, you're doing it from bent arms. Yes, it's not a full ring muscle up, technically by RX standards, but it's a great way to expose yourself to what it feels like, and then you work on doing it with arms extended.
Good. All the way down to straight. Good, yep. There you go. Good job. Good job.
Okay, it was very ugly, but
That's all right.
it felt good to be back up there.
It's always good to be back on the rings.
Right.
All right, so next time I want you to focus on relax the arms more. Okay, so you went to straight, then you kind of went bent, and then you went straight, then you went bent again, and then you pulled. So just worry less about the big swing. If we didn't go back, if we didn't go back and forth between this, I think the smaller swing would still get you up there, right?
Okay.
So I want you to practice that. Arm straight, small swing, through, okay?
So Tom is not going to kip this time. He doesn't need to do the swing. All I'm going to do is I'm a spotter, I'm a coach. He's not going to kick me. Please? You can if you want, I don't care. But basically, I'm grabbing his feet or his ankles, whatever you can get a hold of, and I'm giving him the lift so that he can feel what it's like. Because we practice on the low rings, but now we're high and it's very different. So we need to expose our body to what does it feel like to do it right on the high rings. So rather than him kipping and doing all that, I'm just going to give him a little bit of a lift, okay? And just trust me, I'm going to.
No kip.
Yeah, you don't have to kip. If I push your butt, it could work, but we're just going to do it this way. So just get into your hang position, okay? Okay, and then put your feet out, and ready, go. Okay, come down, and then fade away. Yep. So let's do that one more time. This time, you transition, and you were like, like way high.
Yeah.
Okay. To practice what it's actually going to feel like, we're going to have to catch a really deep dip. So this time, transition earlier here, and it's going to feel like a very deep ring dip. Okay. I'm going to give you maybe a little bit less support and just focus. 1, pause. I'll let go of you. Finish. Okay. All right. Go. Good. Okay. See, I let go of them a little bit. You see how they drifted out?
Yep.
So again, when I get rid of that spotter, fade away. Here you go. Yeah, when we're coming down, we go the same way we came up. Okay, so you're coming down. Don't just, right? You're here, come to the dip, and then just drop back, and it'll feel easy. So if we do some more attempts, and I'm not spotting you, remember that point for you, we've talked about your head transition, but I imagine what's going to be the sticking point now is like, you're going to get here, and those rings are going to come wide. So just keep them tight. Keep them tight, all right? All right? So it's like you're just so used to.
Pulling.
Yeah, there you go. Attaboy. Dip, yeah, there you go. Okay, all right, don't get cocky. You did your first one like 10 minutes ago. Like in the open, what do I say? Singles, right? Be able to do one, no matter how tired you are, great. That's when we start moving on to multiples, okay? Awesome.